moving on to our main topic, we are covering puzzles, predicaments, and perplexities. Honestly, I am really, really excited for this product. It really just tickles my dice immensely.
He loves traps. I don't love traps. But if I was a DM, I too would love these traps. Because then I don't gotta think about it. And that's the part that I don't like to do when I'm DMing is think about these things. I just want to throw something at my players. And this is a great resource to do this with.
Right. Do you want to read? I got it. Adventurers will find themselves tested in many ways during their careers, seeking fame, fortune, and justice. Or truth. Or both. Or all, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Some of these tests will challenge their strength, agility, spellcasting knowledge, and combat skills.
My favorite one. Combat skills. Not much else, just combat skills.
Kill something!
Other encounters will require diplomacy, conversation, observational skills, and social interactions.
Definitely things I'm not good at.
Diplo what?
What?
That's not punching things.
Well, it's aggressive negotiations according to Star Wars. A rare challenge provides elements of both of these and requires deeper thinking and analysis. Such puzzles are meant to guard treasures and secrets and present a unique challenge to the characters and players. They also suggest a worthy reward lies on the other side.
I just thought of the Star Wars quote of Anakin Skywalker just kind of pointing all around him. He's like, is this what you call a diplomatic solution? I'm just like, yeah, unfortunately.
Oh my God. I see that Tater is back.
Woo.
Yes.
Welcome back, Tater. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope that beard is bigger than ever.
I can't imagine. It's not.
So I absolutely really think that this is a fantastic product. Just to set the record straight, there are two of these products, version 1 and volume 1, volume 2, or part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
We actually had kind of went through both of them and ended up picking the ones we wanted out of volume 2 or part 2.
Yeah,
number 2,
volume
whatever.
2, yeah.
But you can pick up either or of the supplements. We do have links in the show notes. You can go to the critacademy.com and go to the blog section. Just click on the section titled the name of the show. So there's something that I something that I noticed in here that really was interesting. They have 2 different ratings for determining challenge.
Two different ratings?
Yes.
Okay.
They have a puzzle difficulty, which is much like the normal CR stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
Which is based on the character's ability to solve the problem. And then there's a perplexity rating, which is like a measurement, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a measurement for the player's difficulty of the players to solve.
So, like, for us, essentially. Not the
Yes,
characters, but
not
us
the characters,
as players.
us. So, and
Yes.
that's something I think we've talked about on the show before. And Austin, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Actually, I kind of probably think I can already assume where you're going to go with that. But do you think that when a puzzle is thrown at the group, that it should be solved with only skill checks, or should the players be involved in the thinking themselves?
I would say that it would depend on what the player's mood is.
Thanks, Austin.
I see. I was gonna go with that route as well. I was thinking about it. I was like, I mean, on one hand, it would depend on like I guess the mood of the group, right? But like honestly, like here's the conundrum I come up with, and this is why you have such a great solution to all this: is you just roll an intelligence check, so that way maybe your characters might know, because they're sure as fuck I don't. But
A wizard is only smart as the player, no matter how high his int is.
And unfortunately, my int is pretty low in the Dungeons and Dragons style of things. I probably have an intelligence score of 6, whereas my character has a 12. And thankfully, his 12 matters more in terms of me not worrying to have to worry about my 6.
So let's see if I can disassemble your puzzle and put it back together in a way that people can understand. So you actually prefer the use of the character's skills to determine the puzzle, not your own.
Generally speaking, yes. Although I do like puzzles sometimes when when it's kind of in my field and I'm like, oh hey, I can think about this and solve this, and I don't have to worry about the magical complexities that I have to think about when I'm looking at arcane knowledge. Great.
Fair enough.
I don't know how to draw an inverted magic circle for a demon, but I bet you my character can.
Did you have anything, Ian? I mean, do you prefer one way or the other, or maybe a mix of both?
Probably a mix of both.
I guess what it is for me, and this is why I have such a tough time with puzzles, I guess, is I'm never in the puzzle thinking mood. I'm like, how hard can I skate by this with the grit of my teeth? When I think about that situation all the time, it's like, if I'm gonna die, it better be because I die with both my arms missing and I'm probably kicking a dude before I die.
I still laugh out at a back and forth when we're going through a dungeon, and the DM basically drew out the entire room, and it's like, okay, there's a puzzle in here, and now you have to work off these two levers. I'm like, screw it. My guy just walks up to it and just pulls both of them down. And the DM, nothing happens. And I just randomly having to guess the correct solution the first try.
Oh my goodness.
Without even paying attention to the puzzle at all.
Good.
That's funny.
Good.
And because nothing happened, nothing in the room changed, so he's like, why did I draw this whole room?
Why did I draw this whole room? Man.
All right.
But because I guessed it correctly, we didn't realize I actually did something. So...
Very cool.
If anything, because nothing went off, I probably would have thought nothing worked. So I probably would have been like, oh, maybe we gotta do like one of them only. I don't know. Because like, nothing happened, guys. I don't know what to do for me.
And so...
Which I'm assuming something must have, of course, right?
Yeah.
But nothing happened at all, but...
Well, maybe a door opened now, though. But...
Yeah.
Door open somewhere else. Somebody just stand in front of the door. Open, close, open, close. So... I'm indifferent on this because it doesn't really matter to me personally. I usually will gauge my players and what they like. But my favorite way to do it is if I do toss something that I expect the players to try to solve, they always have the option to just roll and I'll give them answers. Because I don't expect the player to be as smart as a perfect an eidetic memory wizard. I don't expect a player to be able to go lift a goddamn boulder. Why would I expect a character to be able to solve a problem as a player that a wizard is designed to challenge a super genius wizard? Mm-hmm. So,
actually, I still have chuckle at them. I kind of felt bad for my Saturday GM because he multiple times built puzzles that where the solution was built around characters' abilities, and like the one day we decided to not use the abilities. Like an encounter was designed around somebody's skill set, and then they didn't use that skill set. Yeah, like
that's just the life of a DM, isn't it? It really.
Well,
that sums
we
it
have
up
a
really
Tabaxi
well.
player who the players always say, I sniff this every time we introduce something new. So he designed a puzzle around like
this is the time when they decided not to sniff anything.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Or how we needed like a key to open the door inside a dungeon to proceed forward, but the key was separated into three separate parts, and we were shown where the rooms that each key were in through a vision. And after we're trying to figure out how to get to them, I'm like, wait a second, I'm a Force Domain cleric. I see what those parts look like. I can just make them. Okay. And the DM's like, finally! It took you 90 minutes to figure that out.
Oh man, that's rough. Honestly though, if it took 90 minutes, I mean, as long as the players are having fun, I guess it doesn't matter. But
now I'm thinking about the webcomic too, where the puzzle is just the word overthinking on the wall, and that was it.
I guess I'm not smart enough to understand the puzzle.
It was just like all the players stood there. Wait, this word overthinking, it must be a clue. But what does it mean?
Oh, is it just like something to delay them?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so let's actually start talking about some of the puzzles that are actually in here. Ian, would you like to tell us about the one you picked? The one that you picked.
Why, certainly. The one I picked is Boulder Dash.
Now, before he gets right into the detail of what it is, you have to understand that these are broken down into subsections. You've got the description, you've got the mechanics of the puzzle, and then you got the solution, as well as an additional section called Rising Stakes that really allows you as the DM to adjust certain things for a more intense puzzle.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about this, why you picked it, what it does, all that jazz.
The party has survived all the challenges up to this point. A long, narrow hallway leads towards their final goal. If something seems way too easy about it, there might be something more to this hallway. And sure enough, at one end of this hallway is a large boulder perched precariously atop a ledge above the hallway. At the other end of the hallway is a lone closed door. And short version, when you step onto the floor, it turns out the floor is actually resting on a fulcrum, and the entirety is just one big lever, so...
Oh, that's awesome. So is that what causes the boulder to come
Yep.
chasing down after you?
So you gotta keep, like, the whole thing balanced out, basically, as you try to cross the hallway.
How do you do that? So how would you do, without the solution, before we get to the solution, how would you as a player arrive at how to do that?
Well, first off, you have to assume your players aren't even smart enough to figure it out in the first place.
Because I certainly wouldn't have figured that out. Oh, this is an easy rating.
Yeah, this
by
is
the way.
considered easy, by the way.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
isn't like the potion mixing one, which is considered a high perplexity rating.
Oh, and the floor starts to tilt when they cross a certain point, so it's not obvious immediately either.
Right. That's hilarious.
See,
Because it's not until you get past the fulcrum, right?
Yep.
See, my rogue would have just been gunning down the hallway. He's like, well, something's gonna happen. I may as well make it happen.
And that too was accounted in the puzzle.
So when it tips, it releases the boulder, and then are they now sliding down too?
Okay. The hallway is 100 feet long and 10 feet wide. The doorway entering the hall is 20 feet from the wall where the boulder is sitting on the ledge, and 80 feet from the closed door from the exit at the other side of the hallway.
Oh, okay.
And the trick is to this hallway is that the floor rests on the fulcrum, as we already established. And when enough weight is placed beyond the fulcrum, usually by the characters walking down the hallway, the floor tilts, and then the boulder starts to roll quickly down the newly formed ramp that the players just created.
Oh.
Suckers. The floor.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. The floor begins to tilt when near more than half the party crosses the midway point, 50 feet under them, ahead, and then that's when the floor starts to sink, and the players with a passive perception of 13 or higher might notice the movement, which means they might notice at all.
Oh man, it's got some savage shit because the entire hallway is covered in grease.
Yep, I was about to get that.
Like, oh my god, they're just gonna get bull rolled over because they're slipping and falling on their ass.
And when they all fall, the players then slide down the ramp as the boulders trying to
roll over them.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. I was actually just gonna say, is there like gonna be spikes or something? Because it's tilting the whole thing. So
yeah.
I imagine that instead of getting to the door, like it slides down into like a chute with like spikes or
something dangerous at the bottom.
And the boulder rolls up 35 feet each round, and after 3 rounds, anybody who's not escaping the trap takes bludgeoning damage.
Oh, that's sweet.
3d10 bludgeoning damage, actually.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Can I just fucking Tater says this episode is brought to you by Corona Beer Special Virus Brew. I do not have the coronavirus. I went to the doctor. I had the flu. And I am recovering from it, thank you.
Yeah.
Though I do look like I got a virus.
Looks a little rough.
Oh my gosh.
So, I guess before we talk about the solution, how would we solve this, I guess? Because I'm assuming you've already read the solution, right? So you probably already have an idea. But I guess how I would solve it is I imagine that the hallway is still pretty... Well, no, because how big was the boulder again? It was what, like 10?
I thought it sounded like it was 20 something. I imagine it fills the entire...
Does it fill the entire hallway?
Yep.
Width. So...
Well, I guess if the boulder... Because this is how I'm imagining it, right? So the ramp is going down like this, right? And the boulder's coming. Well, as long as I'm towards the very end of the ramp where everyone else is, and because I'm playing my rogue and I have my grappling hook. I'm gonna try and climb the wall so that way I know I can get out of the way. I'm gonna hope everyone else can follow with me, but that probably won't happen.
Actually, there's like a diagram too with the dimensions of the room from the side. So.
Oh yeah, it does come with a nice little diagram.
So yeah, I mean, I'd have to climb a lot of feet pretty quick, and I'd have to survive the dexterity saving throw. But other than that,
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
if you're a
interesting.
rogue, you'd probably be fine on the saving throw anyway. So,
I think it's cool. I definitely.
but if I was playing like Zorax or something, I have no idea. I'd be like, well, I better tank a boulder real quick.
Take a boulder. I got it. So for me, it says that the hall is. It doesn't actually give a height to the room.
I was gonna say,
Does it?
I don't think.
Well,
it
not
did.
in the text.
In the diagram. It probably does.
It does.
See, well,
It gives dimensions.
1 square is 5 feet, so it's
Okay.
actually a pretty tall hallway. Actually,
So 35 feet.
Yep.
35
so it's
feet up.
definitely higher than
So
than the boulder itself.
if this thing, if I didn't spot this trap and it started chasing me down, the first thing I would do is jump on top of whoever fell first and use them as a foothold to try to get the hell out of the way. I think this would depend on what type of class I'm. If I'm a barbarian, that's certainly what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a druid, I totally can just turn into a spider and crawl up the side.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, that's
yeah.
not going to help anybody else, but every man for himself. That's kind of player I am sometimes. Or if you really need to be a nice player, you turn into a panther and carry a rope up there, and because you can climb
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a really high climbing
speed,
thing.
so and let everyone climb it. You can use a wizard could use minor illusion to carry a rope and tie it off on something. Once again, the structure of the room depends on that,
Right.
but
I guess with a
You mean
wizard,
Mage-Hand.
you could
what did I say?
Minor illusion.
Yeah, that's certainly not the right spell, but you knew what I meant. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I feel like wizard would have a lot of answers to this because can't they just make people literally fly just by touching them?
Well, it depends on the level.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So
guess that
once
depends on
again,
the level, yeah.
this type of trap depends on the level you're trying to introduce.
I guess it's
it,
also
right?
easy, right? So I'm assuming it has to be pretty.
I'm a
low level.
druid. I'm
Lot
just
to get
going to
around
change to
it.
a spider and just walk up the wall.
So this is an
Just find
inter-
like a little crack and just.
yeah, this is an interesting take on the old boulder chasing somebody down the hallway. So
Yeah.
I love, like I said, we talked about earlier. I love the idea of some sort of hazard at the bottom too. Like it opens up into a trap door and you can slide into a poisonous snake, spike pit, something like that. So either you get bowled over by a boulder or you're gonna be in a pit of piranhas or something. Who knows?
So the idea, I'm assuming, is you gotta get to the door so that the boulder doesn't hit you, right?
Right.
So I mean, because it doesn't go until you're halfway past the point, and then so you'll slide, but then you gotta somehow, either when you hit the wall, you gotta climb up the wall and get to the door. I'm assuming.
Nothing says that door's unlocked though, man.
That's true.
You get there and it's it's locked.
Actually, I'm raising the stakes. It does say the door might be locked. If you choose to.
Better hope your thief can thieves tool it real
Can
good.
pick the lock under pressure. So I think this is a
Got
really
one
good
turn.
one. I think it's a really good one for an easy one too.
I like it
Do we
too.
want to say what the solution is or no?
Oh yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
We'll say see whatever.
Don't
solution
get
is.
caught by it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The solution is characters who realize a boulder is unleashed by causing the floor to tilt may understand that the trap can be avoided by keeping the floor level. This can be done by keeping as much weight in front of the midpoint of the fulcrum as possible beyond it, keeping half the party on either side of the floor, or by placing items equal to or greater than the party's weight on the entrance side.
See, that is way smarter than
Yeah, I would have never
whatever
thought of
the hell I was thinking. Can we just put like extra, just walk back and then just grab some more rocks and just put it on the other side? Because it won't fall, so you just keep building enough
Yeah.
until it carries our weight and then you just walk by. Wow, that's really.
More
Wow,
than
I
I
feel
would ever
dumb.
think. Yeah, right.
I feel dumb.
To stop the whole thing from tilting.
Yeah, just why it's not, guys. The trap is the boulder. We're thinking about the boulder. You should just be thinking about the ramp.
Because no movement of ramp, no boulder.
Yeah.
Got
It's
it.
like, wow,
I feel like a schmuck.
I feel like an idiot.
That's okay.
Jeez.
You're in good company.
Yep. Apparently me and you were like, well,
Oh
I'm
my
gonna cause
gosh.
the boulder to happen, so and I know it, so we may as well think about the boulder.
All right. With that being said, overall, I think this is a really good trap.
Yeah,
Thank you for.
I like this one a lot because I like really simple traps.
Yep.
And this is one of those.
Why do you think that is, you guys?
Because I'm a fucking idiot.
No, I just thought because you were just talking about how simple you are.
Yeah.
So, how do we keep this from too far? Druid, I summon the blue whale.
What?
Just summon a blue whale right on top of the fucking.
Oh yeah, so it doesn't stays flat. I love it.
And it doubles as a wall to block up hallways to cover your escape.
Oh, you know what you could do to add to it? You totally could make sure that
yeah,
the
we should read
boulder,
that section
the
too,
boulder is filled with covered in like a kerosene or a gas, and there's a match on the end. So as the ramp goes up, it lights the damn boulder on fire. Then you basically have a rolling flame sphere coming at you.
I was thinking, what if it was hollowed out in the middle? So it's like a wick that goes inside as well, and then it just right when it gets to the middle, it's just a giant grenade.
Oh man!
It's just boulder shrapnel. I mean, you'd probably kill your party, but
That's fantastic.
that's kind of the point. Well, it's not. The point's not to kill them. The point's to impede them. But that would kill them. That is a nuclear bomb-sized grenade.
That's funny. All right, which one did you pick, Austin?
I chose the one that's actually a little bit above it. It's called the punch board, I believe it's what it's called.
The very
That might be
first
the very first one.
Yeah, I think it's the first one. Yeah, which is
Another easy one.
very handy. So this one is
Want me
it's
to make that
basically reverse whack-a-mole. That's how I described it, and it's I guess we can go down to. Oh, I guess we can read the top.
Let's
part
at
first,
least read the little description.
Little flavor. Yeah. The party encounters a jagged stone wall made up of several rows of natural-looking holes, each covered with a thick spider web. The item the party seeks lies within one of these holes, but how will they find the right one? And what else may lurk within these burrows?
Well, obviously, we're gonna try to stick our hands in them to find what we're looking for. That's a bad idea.
Right, and it says in customizing the puzzle, which I kind of enjoyed too, is the versatility of this puzzle lies largely in the fact that there could be almost anything hidden within these holes. There could be a magic item the party seeks, a key to unlock a nearby door, or a quest item of any kind. Assuming the prize matches the size of the hole, the identity of the item is limited only by the DM's imagination. As such, this puzzle can be placed at any key point during an adventure or campaign where an important item needs to be recovered. So it could be, a fist-sized hole to grab something, or it can be a human body-sized hole to grab in.
For the Goliath to grab somebody.
Just, could you imagine? It's just a reverse. We're actually in the punch board, and the Goliath is on the other side. He's like, "Oh, where'd I leave my teapot? There it is. Oh, I grabbed a person. He's dead now." Just
It's funny.
crush. But
So I'm envisioning you got these big holes. There's an item inside.
and
You have to determine which is the right one.
essentially, and it's not meant to puzzles typically aren't meant to kill your players. So it even has punch board results on there. As
My
you can see
puzzles
as well.
do.
And it's just a 5x10 grid of spiderweb covered holes, and a 5x10 that's 50 holes.
That's a lot.
So that might take your party a hot minute, but there is I guess I won't say the results or how to get through it first, but
You just said most puzzles aren't designed to kill people. Didn't your character almost die from a boulder trap?
yeah, but that was because we shot.
very first
No, that
session.
was. Oh no, yeah, that one was that boulder almost killed me. Yeah, that was great. I was poisoned, admittedly.
Yeah, because you guys snuck in a back way. And there was spiders. Fucking spiders in this thing, too.
There's spiders.
And
Yeah.
this poisoned you, and that was it, which isn't a big deal until you're trying to run away from something.
Yeah, that was a bad thing. I don't know how
So-
we would have not been able to activate that either. So whatever happens. There probably was a way.
I'm never going to tell. There was a couple different ways.
Oh wow, I missed every single one of them then.
Have a character equipped with wing
Perceptions.
boots.
What's that?
Have a character equipped with wing boots and just hover across the floor.
You can actually jump over the thing, too. But you have to spot it first.
Oh yeah, check for traps.
Yeah. You didn't actually trigger it. The other guy did. Brandon. But anyway, I don't think... Was it Brandon?
It was.
Brandon trigger. You're both running for your life. Anyways,
doesn't matter.
So on this puzzle, so you got a 5x10 grid. There's something in these you need. something bad's gonna happen if you get the wrong one.
Or alternatively, nothing could happen. If you just reach
Okay.
in and nothing, just oh, there's nothing there, guys.
So it actually has a punchboard result thing here, and it tells you different things that will be inside that you'll pull out.
Yeah. And
Oh
there's
my
also
gosh.
punchboard monsters down
Yes.
below, and you should scroll down just a tiny bit. It's bottom right there. Yeah.
Why is there a lich in a hole
or a Baylor?
or a Baylor?
Or 2 mind flayers.
I'm
Oh
just
my
just scroll
God.
down just a tiny bit more. You'll see how lovely this thing
Yeah,
is.
dude. So okay, let's start before we get into the monsters. There's random things like you can put in, and there's rats. Me, I'm a douche, so they would definitely be like.
Oh, yeah, like
We've done I think we had a monster variant that was like a virus-filled rat or something.
yeah, like a plague boy.
Yeah, you stick your hand in, it bites you. So how would you solve this problem as how would you approach this as a character?
Okay, so because
And
I'm the
extension by
simpleton,
player.
of course, is I'm just gonna go trial and error until eventually I find out what it is. Because
Not a bad choice.
it's just I'm gonna reach in. If I don't die, hooray! If I do die, well, I should have thought about something different. But upon reading the solution, it makes way more sense. And to be honest, certain characters I would play would probably get me in that mindset to think of that solution too. But I won't spoil that yet. So
Or actually check the hole before you shove your hand in there.
it's one.
Yeah.
You can't just you don't have to just be like, well.
Well, it depends. I mean, if it's one of those things where
Well,
it's
also-
not straight, and maybe it goes in and then down, and you're
True,
doing one of
yeah.
those things, like those little kids that are trying to get crap out of the vending machines. But imagine you couldn't see.
Yeah, which is honestly way more scary the more you think about it. It's like, oh, that's terrifying.
Well, yeah, because if somebody catches you,
What
you
if
get in
it's
trouble.
like just like a nest of spiders that you reached into? So it's just all in your arm, and you're just like,
pull out a whole swarm? Oh God, that's gross.
I'm sorry, but not even an adventurer would not be afraid of that. I'm sorry.
So I think in order to make this more exciting, you would have to make some sort of time limit.
And that is
So-
actually part of the raising the stakes is add like a
is
time
it
limit
adding
thing.
a timer? Because that's what I would do. I would put them in a situation where they've got all these options. Now, if they had all day, sure, they could go in and out and just deal with whatever
whatever
comes
the
out.
consequences. Yeah.
But if they're on a time limit, say one of these holes has a key that releases the innocent person that's hanging from a giant chain, human mincing chain that's about to drop somebody off into a giant grinder. Them 50 choices become a lot more important.
Yeah. Or
You know?
alternatively, like you can even make it so like the typical like you're in a dungeon and the water's rising. Now you got a bigger problem to deal with
Yeah,
because
you're
now
gonna drown.
yeah. And drowning sucks. I almost had that happen to me not too long ago, and that was awful. Drowning is the worst.
Yeah,
Well, in that one campaign, the one shot we did, yeah. Drowning was awful. Don't do that.
I thought he was talking about in real life. I
No,
was
no.
I was saved as a kid when I was drowning because I got pushed into the pool by a stupid cousin. So what do you think about this, Ian? You're awfully quiet over there, probably because we talk too much and you can't get a word in edgewise.
That is true sometimes.
Sorry.
I talk a lot.
I definitely have 1 or 2 characters like
Both of us.
Guy in Dynamite.
That's I
Well,
didn't think about blowing up the whole
It
board.
depends what you're looking for.
I
If what
guess
you're
that's
looking
true,
for
yeah.
can easily be incinerated, probably not a good idea.
I don't think that would stop some of my characters.
Don't worry, guys, I got it.
What are you gonna do? What's he doing? You just sees him pouring just like a barrel, just like
got the gunpowder.
gunpowder. It's like he just looks over. Don't pay attention to me. You guys do what you're doing.
Calls over a coyote with a picture she has that says Acme on it.
That one ain't gonna work.
An explosion
how
will
would
happen.
How would is that how you would solve it? Just blow the whole thing up?
Depends on which character I was running.
That's fair. How would you solve it?
If I was trying to be more systematic, it would depend on what it was I was looking for.
Let's say a key.
If I'm looking for something metal, I think it would be... Honestly, I play wizards. I would just send a familiar into every hole.
No, that's smart. Honestly.
I mean, if my familiar dies, I just summon another one. Try again. I mean, you can get like if you summon a spider familiar,
Or even
for
just
instance.
like Mage Hand, I guess, right? You can
Yeah,
just Mage Hand every
depending
single
on what
one
it
of those.
is, if it's light
Yeah.
enough. Because Mage Hand can't be attacked, but it can feel around. But with the Find Familiar, I can look through their eyes and stuff. So if I pit
yeah.
like a spider that's got blind sense, my blind sense can pick up what a key is, I think. If not, Dark Vision
I'd
can,
imagine,
that's
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, so from the person who plays wizards and barbarians, that's what I would do as a wizard. As a barbarian, I just probably stick my hand in it and go for however it works.
It's fair.
I think that if I was trying to find which ones have creatures, though, I'd probably get some flint and tinder and just light every hole on fire and flesh out,
Oh yeah, yeah, that's smart too.
smoke out whatever's in there, or because I don't know
Because
that
it's
I
made
would.
of just spider webbing, right?
Yeah,
So
so you can burn it. Anyway, so what is the actual solution to this?
So the actual solution is if you want to actually scroll up just a little bit.
I think I can do that for you.
Is it there? Oh, maybe it's not. No, it's not. Never mind. Right there. So obviously you have to open the the holes to actually get whatever's in there, but there is like you can do like a survival or survival or investigation check will allow you to find out what could possibly be in the holes without actually actively sticking your arm in there, or like a good perception check will actually just be like, well, this spider web was made recently. I probably shouldn't stick my hand in there.
Or this one's got some a freshly coiled
This one's got blood
insect or
stains.
so. Yeah, like when a spider like wraps up a cocoon of its whatever it's gonna feed on.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some of those hanging in there. That
Right.
one's got spiders. This one over here smells like something
Fresh
rotting.
dead, yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's something dead in there.
So, like,
so that's probably not a hole I need to go into.
Yeah, so like there's definitely like easier little things you can do.
Definitely sounds like using your 5 senses
Mm-hmm.
is more important.
What's in this hole? Smells like failure. Not that one.
But yeah, that's like the really like something could take a few holes before realizing. Yeah, it just says like persistence is key and just trying to find out like just use like your character's 5 senses and just trying to figure it out like that way. Or just
Right.
using whatever like skill set your party can already use. So like that's how come it says like just use like a successful wisdom checks like perception or nature or investigation. Survival is also a really good one. So
Another thing you could do, once again, if I was like a mage or any character spellcaster that can cast a light cantrip,
yeah, you can just light up the hole
yeah,
and just
Or
see what's in there.
just
Yeah.
light up a coin and throw it in, see if anything moves.
See if the light goes out and you're just like, that's not good.
Right? I mean, if you're looking for a creature and you don't get any movement through a bunch of them, those probably aren't the ones. But once again, those are, if it's time sensitive, that becomes a harder choice. And I don't know how I would split the dictionary then. Like, how would you root? Because normally you take a problem solving approach where you try to split. How can I rule out half of the rooms? Well, you can smoke out all the rooms at once, have a fire, and any critters will come out of all the ones that are in.
Alternatively, if they all come out at once, here's the issue. Now you gotta fight all of them. And depending on the challenge,
I didn't realize how a terrible idea that was.
Yeah, so depending on your DM, because obviously they could be afraid and be running away because they just had a fire ignited in their home. Alternatively, they could just be pissed and now they want to kill the guy who ignited a fire in their home.
Right.
So I don't know. And I guess as we saw with the whole like what creatures could possibly be in there. Obviously makes a difference because being a baler, you could find one in there. You're like, oh guys, I fucked up. I found a baler. We need to run.
Mistakes may have been made.
Oh, that's
Or
funny.
not just a fucking witch. God damn.
That's
Oh,
funny.
I love it. Ugh.
Ian, do you have any other touches on this or anything? Any comments on this?
I have no additional points to make at this time.
Would you use a trap like this?
I could definitely see some opportunities arising.
Me too.
There's like something simple. And you know what? I like simple. So there I go.
So there's a bunch of really good traps in here. I really struggled to pick any particular one that I want. And as soon as I find
The one that you ended up settling on?
which is the Tales from the Crypt, I think.
Yeah, there were a few options.
I tried to Control F, but it didn't find it.
Well, F you.
There it is.
Tales from the Crypt.
So,
Okay.
I really liked this one. So this is Tales from the Crypt, which, as a kid growing up, Tales from the Crypt was one of my favorite shows. I don't know if is it Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I don't remember.
Crypt.
But it was good stuff. Anyways, a powerful magical golden scepter was buried in a crypt of an adventurer of the adventurers who excuse me. A powerful magic golden scepter was buried in the crypt of the adventurers who retrieved it many years ago. A new threat requires the retrieval of this item. But the adventurers did not leave it unguarded. The party will have to gather clues and piece them together in order to solve the riddle of the crypt and prove themselves worthy of this legendary artifact. So, basically, you have a item that's locked into basically it's a chest, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
the chest of a dead guy.
So,
you know.
so the first detail is what is the item. So although the default item is a golden scepter, the magic item hidden in the crypt can really be anything that you want. You're really not tied to it.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want it to even be like tied
It
to an
could be the
overarching
Vorpal
story.
sword
Yeah.
to behead the
The
goddess
Jabberwocky.
Tiamat. Well, she has like 5 heads.
Well,
so
she's
you
a
know.
goddess, so.
Yeah. Should you do that though? Probably not.
Legendary resistance, we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The point is,
Anyways,
legendary sword, big dragon.
got it.
Literally
Slay the
Knight's Tale.
Jabberwocky. Anyways, it can be whatever you want. So, what is the puzzle? So, the puzzle? Crikey.
Sorry.
So the crypt holds the coffins containing the remains of the famous adventurers. These adventurers were part of a legendary party whose deeds were captured in bard songs across the world.
Ooh.
One particular song holds the key to unlocking holds the key to unlocking the coffins and recovering the sought after item. Unfortunately, only one sheet containing the lyrics to the song has the only sheet containing the lyrics to the song has been torn into pieces and scattered into the wind. This particular puzzle is the final objective in where the hero lies, which is a full-length adventure that's also included in the supplement in the puzzle
know that.
Predicaments and Perplexities. Yes. I'm going to talk about that, actually. I want to get more into that after we go do this puzzle, but that's something to note. There's 2 adventures that tie all that stuff together.
That's really cool, actually. Holy cow.
So I thought that was a really nice touch. So, and then actually uses this one in it. 4 ideas on where to place the scattered lyrics or guidance on how to tie several of the puzzles together. You can use their adventure or segments of their adventure and tie them into your own to really make it all kind of to fit together. So they actually give some descriptions here, which I think is really important to the way the puzzle works. So it starts with you descend a narrow staircase. The room opens into a large square chamber. The air is cold and damp, and several torches flickering from the walls cause your shadows to dance irregularly. Within the chamber are 6 ornate sarcophagi with images of the inhabitants carved in. I'm so sorry.
Into the stone. I just want to say this real quick. You could really do some really cool world building for this this room because of how like the songs, like the tales are like talked about this place to begin with. You could really do some really cool roleplay opportunities already, and you haven't even really gotten too far into this yet. So
yeah, and that's one of the things that I think happens in a lot of these is that they create a lot of lore. You can create a lot of lore surrounding their creation. So the first thing you have to do is collect all the lyric sheets, right?
Right.
Now, it's up to you as the DM where you want these to be. Now, here's what I thought of, because they give you some details and some customization options of how you want to do it. But I want to tell you what I thought of. I love the idea of a road trip themed adventure where all the adventurers have to go to these concerts by bards. Each of these bards have a different piece of the thing that they're using
And like their
to
songs.
strum on their maybe not they're strumming on their songs, but maybe they're parts of their little the pick, right? Each pick that they have has parts of the lyrics on it, or maybe it's something ingrained on one of the people's instruments.
Hi, I'm gonna have to borrow your lute.
I don't know, something like that.
Or like I'm gonna have to buy off your loot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the idea of it having to go on a road trip to meet to these concerts and chase these bands of bards who are singing to collect these little pieces of information that each one have. And what it is they basically all split part of this up across all their instruments. But since that happened, they've all separated and got their own bands. So you have to go and collect all these different instruments that have all the stuff together and pull them together and then write out the lyrics.
Okay.
And then once you get to the cool flickering dungeon area, you do the singing, and it talked about the torches and everything. Having the torches start like beating, da 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 da, and what do you guys think?
All right.
That's one way to do it.
I like that actually, especially since then you kind of get to like. It feels, I guess, more legendary in a way, right? Because now you've gone through all these places just to get to this final area, to get this final item, to do whatever you need to do to begin with.
Yeah.
So like it really does kind of like tie everything into a nice, neat little bow.
Yeah, and that's something I like. And this is actually one of the least of the, as far as complexity, I don't think it's that complex. I think it leaves a lot more to...
It's just time consuming.
Yes, it's very time consuming, and it leads more to the DM of what they want to do with it and how they want to approach it. And those are the kind of puzzles that I like. But I wouldn't have thought of something like this, like a road trip adventure encounter. I mean, like a whole campaign arc that's just about us traveling Faerun to go to these really badass bard concerts to either steal their instrument or bribe them from it or buy it from them. Or beat them up and take it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, what if you find one guy that's willing to sell it and another one who's not?
persuade him, deceive him.
Yeah, persuade and deceive a bard.
A skilled rogue could do that.
Or a
enough.
sorcerer.
Or a...
Or a warlock. Or a cleric.
anything using charisma. Even a paladin!
I don't know, man. Bards are tricky mother effers, man.
I mean, yeah, but like...
See, that's I think would be the fun part of it, though, is they
I guess
wouldn't
it-
be able
yeah.
to be as manipulated like others.
I guess
You know
that's
what I
true,
mean?
yeah.
Now, you could go with that they're just regular minstrels and not really
Yeah.
bards like the class,
Yep.
but...
Or a cleric. Can you give us the lyric sheet? No. I cast Gias. Can you give us a lyric sheet? Okay.
And you know what? It might be as simple as that. But what happens when that snaps out and then he goes and tells all his friends? Or reaches out to them?
yeah. I guess that's
They're
true.
going to be ready for it.
They all have like sending stones.
Right. So,
They just have like a little council. They're like, this is an emergency. They have the lyric.
Yeah. Ooh, encounter idea. You hear basically all the villains from across the land will be meeting at one location, and you go there to take them all out at once. Turns out it's actually a Battle of the Bands contest.
I love that. So, what is really cool, and there are, it does give, more detail on the coffins and how they lead to certain lyrics, which is pretty cool. So you can know which ones kind of match each one, which is how you determine the order of the verses. By the order of the coffins. And so once you get the lyrics, you match it up with the carving. So like the tiefling wizard caught in a blizzard. That's one of the lyrics. And there's a coffin with a female with horns like a devil, dressed in a loose robe, with a book and an eyeball on its cover. That's clearly referencing the tiefling wizard, or maybe it's not. Who knows?
Right.
But you use the coffin order, and once you match them all up, you read out the lyrics and open up the lock, which I think is just fantastic. Now, this is way more complex than
And
as
we're
you
kind
can
of
see.
making it out.
Yeah, you can. I mean, there's like 2 pages just for this one puzzle. But
just containing all sorts of ways you can just kind of make this.
yes, and it is really awesome and really just is great.
And just so we're clear, it does state up front, like, yes, the coffins are magically sealed, so good luck with that.
Yes, and that's well, and that's the other thing, because a player might, I cast a spell magic. Okay, well, it was a 9th level sealing spell, so give me an Arcana check. Oh, you fail. Boom, a rush of fucking electricity shocks and fills the room. You're getting shocked.
I'm gonna thieves' tool this coffin. Yeah? It's a
Go ahead.
crowbar.
That's funny. So, all right. So I think that'll do it for our main topic: puzzles, predicaments, and perplexities. I did want to spend a little time talking about the adventures, but we're running really behind, and honestly, my voice is giving out quicker than I expected it to. So, did you guys? I do think that the adventures are very well written. So, I think that the investment of this could have been 2 products in my opinion, and still done really, really.
Just well.
Yeah, so you definitely get your bang for your buck. Ian, Austin, do you guys have any other comments you wanted to make about going through this? What you liked about it? What you is anything that really you saw that you hadn't seen done before, or anything like that?
Even if you don't actually use anything from the supplements, it probably does give you more than a few ideas to use as a springboard to go from there.
Absolutely. One thing that, and I said it pretty close to the beginning of this, is that I, as a DM, don't like to prepare for too much stuff, and this just takes away another thing that I would have to think of. So, like, this allows me to engage with my players without having to deal with, like, okay, I have to think of a puzzle, I have to think of a way to give them some sort of, like, some outcome that they will enjoy, because I can't just give them, like, an outcome like, oh, yeah, you got the key, now you unlock the door. Like, great. How hard was that? It was hanging from a string from the ceiling, and there was a giant spike pitfall underneath it. How did they get it? Well, the guy casted Mage Hand. I could have thought of that. Yeah. Like, then, unfortunately, that means they probably thought of it because I thought of it. So this helps me get past that point. So
I agree.
I'm now thinking about Journey Quest, where a fighter got stuck in the dungeon by himself, and like the dungeon keeper thought he had great elaborate traps to trap all the adventurers, only for a set fight by himself to brute force his way through all of them. And just the exasperated voice. Wait, what are you doing? Stop that! You can do that! What? No!
That's funny.
There's a fountain in the middle of the room, full of flames, and the key you need is inside. So you must reach inside and grab it, but be burned. Wait, why are you ripping the fountain out the ground? Wait, why are you not using it as a battering ram against the door? Stop that!
You're causing problems. Why did I make traps that are just great against everything?
All right. I think that'll do it for our main topic: puzzles, predicaments, and perplexities.
Mm-hmm. Or Disenchanted. Curses, you found the weakness to my trap. A party of more than 2 people.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
We do
watch that. It was good.
You only set up 2 traps at the cave entrance.
Right.
That's funny. There was that reminded me of a puzzle that, or not, well, a trap puzzle, I guess, that I ran for my players. One of the kids. And basically, all it was is when they step on a thing, it launches like a javelin thing at them. And I rolled a die to determine how many it would have. And I had 1, which, that's great. It's only 1. Except for the guy that tripped, it was only like 2 feet tall, so it went over top of him. And I was like, oh, I wasted my trap.
And here I thought you were going to say he was a monk.
No, he was a short kid. And really, I didn't plan for that, but it made sense that, this would have been designed
for like an adult.
Yes, because it was designed by goblins.
Oh.
So goblins are lazy, so all their traps are designed for them to just miss them entirely. So the person that went up was a small, he wanted to be really small halfling. He walked up and went over him and smashed into the wall. I'm like, oh, I wasted my trap. I felt like such a crybaby.
Good use on using the not
Right.
just making it so the character has to suffer regardless, and
Yeah.
that he just has to make it go like, oh yeah, you're short as hell, so
Just went
whatever.
right over top. Yeah.
But we do have a giveaway from Jeff Stevens. It's Villains and Layers 2. Revolutionize your game with this collection of 28 villainous NPCs from Small Fry to World Ender. 8 of which include maps and details of their layers, sinister side quests, terrifying overlords, bounties, one-shots, and more lie in wait for you inside in the Villains and Layers 2.
Ian, who's our winner?
Our winner today is Lee Pierce 90. That's right, Lee. You will finally be rewarded accordingly for your fandom.
All your support and making recordings for us and stuff. Oh, man. Hey, Ian, what happens if they didn't win?
Why, they can go to our website and go to critacademy.com/Jeff Stevens to get Villains and Layers 3 for free.
Yeah, buddy.
Totally free.
The
Go get
rhyming
it.
was unintentional.
I don't think it was unintentional.
It was for me!
Hope if you guys enjoy the products, please leave them a review.
Yeah.
Are you gonna die?
The button.
Oh, right.
And now, what you've all been waiting for.
Totally
Our
forgot about
Unearthed
it.
Tips and Tricks segment,
It's okay.
where we bring you
You're new.
and reusable material for both players and DMs.
So today's character concept comes from me.
Great.
Just like most everything else in these things. Today's character is Rosari Uthraki. She is a fierce warrior with long purple hair dyed by a rare moxie flower that grows up in the top island range to the north. She was born and raised on a floating island of warrior women known as Amazons. Their entire culture is based on strength before weakness. They believe that men are weak as they give in to their emotions, anger, greed, jealousy. Oh, that irony's not lost on me yet. This weakness is why she despises most men. What did I say her name was? Rosary?
Rosary.
I think it's Rosary. It
Yeah.
was a random name generator.
Way to go.
Rosary was never the strongest of her sisters. While she has an athletic build, her gifts lie elsewhere from brute strength, like many of the strongest of Amazons. This often puts her at odds growing up with her den sisters, as they teased and laughed at her expense and her weakness. While others spent their free time resting and fooling around, she continued her education beyond that which was required, leading her to become an expert marksman, as well as earning the ire of her den sisters for always outsmarting them and making them look a fool.
So, Book Smart Amazon is what we're calling this.
Yes. Well,
I typed in the name, so...
yeah. So we're doing I'm working on a deep secret project called Memorable Monsters, and
Well, it's not a secret now.
Yeah, I guess it's not a secret anymore.
yeah, it's not really a super secret. But this is one of the ones I made, and I love this character because I love taking the idea of turning traditional concepts on their head, and the big brutish Amazon. It sounded to be like so much fun having one that's less about force and the other one that's more about precision, and that leading to the fallout of her character with her friends and family, because she doesn't just rely on the strength of her physical strength, but the strength of her mind, and she considers that to be superior, and because of that, it's led her sisters to turn against her and actually cast her out from the floating city that is her perfect heaven or whatever. And I just thought that this was a fun concept that I really wanted to share with you guys. It says marksman. She could be a ranger or a archery fighter.
Or a sorcerer or a wizard.
Okay.
Well, she said she was smart, so...
Oh, yeah. I guess, actually, I didn't do any magic, but yeah, that's a good point. You totally could do that. What do you guys think about this overall, turning this thing up? What do you think about this?
Strong female protagonist is always a plus.
Yeah. Score point with girl power.
Well, the the smart person among a group of barbarians kind of made me think of a character concept somebody made online one time of he asked his DM if he could play a mage character, only to show up the following week with a barbarian who attended mage school on a football scholarship.
There you go.
I love it.
But I do like this a lot because I don't know. It's always it reminds me of Dragon Ball Super in a weird way because of Kefla and how she just kind of appears and she's just this chick who is a Saiyan and she just has this rockin' 6-pack abs and you're just like, all right, I guess I'm in. Like, here we go. So she's like, can obviously like bench press you and like do all these other things. It's like, yeah,
Anytime,
all right.
baby.
She's like, all right, I guess you win.
I like that it creates tension and anger from her sisters. That creates a lot of roleplay opportunity for the DM, in my opinion. So there's much more to that in the memorable monster thing. Like her sisters, they're from a floating island, and they actually there's been disappearances, and they actually kick her off the side of the floating island. And the whole goal is she's struggling to get back because she can't use magic, so she can't fly. So she's looking for somebody to help her, but it took her like a year to recover from falling from the sky.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to know how she survived.
She didn't come out very good. It took a while. So now she's out for revenge and wants to change the way of her sisters, and I think it's great.
Heck yeah.
I think that'll do it for our character concept, Rosari Uthraki.
So it's a
The
Booksmart
Booksmart Amazon.
We should probably call it something else then.
What?
It's a Booksmart Amazon, then we should probably call it something else.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
If it works
I didn't
for you.
actually have a name for it, so I love that. The Booksmart Amazon. I was just going to go with her name.
That works.
I want something more generic sounding.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I love it. The Booksmart Amazon.
It's true though. So, you want me to go with this one?
Yeah, would you?
Sure. So here's our monster variant of the
Podcast.
of the podcast. I'm gonna say the session. I was like, I guess the same thing.
This
right?
episode, podcast, show,
Yeah.
today.
Today, we have lackey, like a lackey, like a like bottom of the totem pole guy. Lackeys are the weakest members in a band of bandits or a small group of crooks. They are weak and have little to no skills, but can be fiercely loyal to a powerful or charismatic leader. Though once their leader is taken out, they're just as likely to run away as they are to try and gut you. So, on one hand, they're like, oh yeah, for our leader, Uthraki. And then they go in, they try and, they go for the stab, and then they realize Uthraki is away and no longer with them because she's like, men are dumb. And so are these guys. And now she left, and now the lackey's here, and he's like, sorry,
Have a good one.
I'll see you later.
Go get him, Dennis!
But the origin of this monster variant was a noble. We're going to replace the breastplate with leather armor, so it's a 12 AC. Changes the rapier to a short sword. Change parry to fight dirty, throwing dust in the enemy's eyes, or pack tactics. The lackey has advantage on an attack roll against a creature if at least one of the lackey's allies is within 5 feet of the creature and an ally is incapacitated.
Pocket sand.
So,
I do love the pocket sand idea. Just, I got you. And it's just like, oh, all right.
well, so, yeah, because the parry doesn't, because we use the noble background, the parry was a really cool feature, but I thought it needed to fit more with the theme of a lackey.
Yeah, because a lackey's probably not going to parry you, to be honest.
Nope.
I can't imagine this parry, who probably just came out of the street, is wielding maybe a dagger. We're not even sure at this point. It's probably made of wood. And he's finally coming to stab me.
Yeah, I think the idea of him throwing dust in your eyes or kicking you in the groin or something.
Yeah, like something just like...
Fighting Dirty. That's why I think Fighting Dirty is a good name, because as a player or as a DM, you can come up with whatever's nearby. Go ahead.
I just thought of something like really modern about it, but like, what if he's like, he's trying to, you got one lackey in front of you, but like this other lackey's behind you, he gets on the ground, he like ties her shoes together or something dumb. Like that, he's just like, oh, this will be great, I'm gonna get this adventure, and he's like, ties her boots together, and you're like, why'd you do that? And then you try and run away, and you realize your movement's at 0.
Quote unquote, you're grappled, but
But not
technically
really.
it's just, I love it.
It's something really dumb.
That would totally that's the type of fighting I think a lackey and flunky would do. It's just some weird ass shit like that.
Or like maybe he's like maybe you're like maybe you're wearing a jacket, so like he's trying to rip your jacket off, and you're like, I'm wearing this. What are you
he's
doing?
trying to take it, so he's got something to wear. He doesn't get paid shit.
Or he pulls your pants down and runs.
Yeah, or like something so simple, right? And it's just like something to
So much
just impede
shenanigans.
you.
Yeah, so much shenanigans can happen from this, and it's not a strong monster at
No,
all. It is
yeah.
so weak. It's a 1/8, and we
they get
lowered its
bopped.
armor class and damage, but we gave it pack tactics, so you can use these sorts of shenanigans to justify the pack tactics, right?
Yeah, I mean they have an advantage on the attack roll. Make that the attack roll. They're using an action. They're using
Yeah.
your equipment on you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's all flavor, so I
Yeah.
think it would be a lot of fun. I love the shenanigans thing, man. I totally want to just run a group of these. So I think, do you have anything else on that, Ian?
I just find it hilarious that the origin of this is a noble, which just shows how squishy they are and how they don't do their own work.
Oh yeah.
Old Handy says, I don't have to outrun the PC, I just have to outrun the other lackey.
And that's just the thing, like, and that would be again another great way to actually tie that all together. The fact that the
Like the
lackeys,
shoes?
like what if they're like running away and like they realize that because their leader's gone, so they're like and so you see one of the other lackeys push down the other lackey while he's running, and you're just like,
Just trip your friend.
and you're just like,
Oh my
as the
gosh.
players, what would you do? You'd be just like, wasn't he just your friend, ally, comrade, something,
Right.
anything?
Yeah.
It'd
really
just be
good.
something really silly.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. That we
This
got
could
way
just
more
be-
out of that than
yeah.
I would expected. I was just thinking of the dirty fight and the shenanigans, and you guys really fed into
ran
that
with
fan.
it.
Yeah, way to go. That'll do it for the monster variant. Our encounter of the podcast is
we don't have a name.
I don't have a name. I got one though.
Search party?
Let's go with it.
I don't know what I had in mind. It works.
All right, so when I was part of an adventure that I am a Patreon supporter of the good guys over at Inter-Party Conflict, and once a month they run an RPG, and this time it was a D&D adventure in Eberron, and our adventurers were hired out to find somebody. What we were looking for, we were given information with details about a signet on a ring and all that jazz, and we had to find this person.
Okay.
We traveled around, we did all the hokey pokey, looking for people, asking questions, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And we finally narrowed down to where the guy's corpse was at one point. Where his body was, some of his belongings were there. There were these massive footprints. Massive, like T-Rex sized footprints. We're like, oh shit, somebody got him. So we're going to have to wait for it to come out. Basically, I'm envisioning chasing a giant monster, waiting to catch its shit in a bucket or something, you know? And so we do all this. We finally track this thing down after a little while, and to our horror, we don't find a monster has eaten this guy. Instead, we find this gigantic, bloody golem with spikes bursting out of every spot on its body, with corpses just hanging from it. It just walks along and picks up dead corpses and just slams it onto its body somewhere.
Oh, that's metal.
It was awesome.
That's so cool.
And he made it like a huge creature. So there was just like dozens of corpses on this thing, and it's a corpse collector. That's all it does.
That's
So,
brutal. Oh my goodness.
but what made
That's
it
pretty metal.
but what made it really cool though is that the monster itself wasn't wasn't the thing we're supposed to fight. It was meant to be just a scene setter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we kept trying to attack it, and it really wasn't going well.
I imagine its CR was probably pretty high.
I don't know. I have no idea. All I
enough.
know is that we couldn't hurt it. And it had its own little minions crawling on it that were kicking our ass. But basically, we had to crawl up onto its body, fight off some enemies while on top of this thing's body, and then grab the signet ring or the corpse, what we needed off the corpse that's been impaled by this thing, while it's continually throwing corpses back on it. It's like...
That is so crazy.
It was very cool, very fun.
That is so that's wild. Honestly, that is just some crazy Definitely D&D style stuff.
Yeah. And what was great is we had all these things of what it was going to be, and Cadaver Collector was not on there. It was awesome. What do you think?
Well, here I thought it was gonna be Bigfoot.
That was
It was a Bigfoot. Bigfoot permit.
that is just that'd be memorable.
Yeah.
To say the least. That'd leave an imprint on me for a long time. That's just like, oh.
And
was
now your
fun.
character.
Yeah.
And my character. Probably scar him for life. PTSD would probably be there. Probably be inset pretty well.
So
Sees one corpse and he's like,
I just want to say thank you, Gabe, for that. It was wonderful. I don't know if that's a module you had or something you came up with, but well done.
if it's something you came up with, you
Kudos.
need to write that stuff down.
Yep.
And our magic item for today is the Lost Lantern of Leonara, which we totally stole from Puzzles, Predicaments, and Perplexities 2.
I like this. I want. Go ahead.
Wondrous item, legendary, requires a little bit of attunement. The lantern has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one or more of its charges to cast one of the following spells from it using your spell save DC. Light, Dancing Lights, Branding Smite, Guiding Bolt, Dawn, Wall of Light, Sunbeam, or Sunburst.
Oh.
Undead targets have a disadvantage on saving throws against these spells. And it regains a 1d6 plus 4 charges every day at dawn. And if you spend the last charge, you roll a d20. On a 1, the lantern blackens, turns to dust, and is destroyed.
That is one heck of an item.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of good stuff. It kind of reminds me of a higher version of like the Staff of Fire or whatever. I like this because I once had a monk that had a staff that just had a lantern hanging from it. And that's totally what this reminded me of. It wasn't magical or anything, but I love the idea of beating somebody with a lantern. And having one that's magical. I love that this has got the smite abilities. I love that it's got the whole holy thing going for it. It's very thematic. And you can do so much with it.
I would love to be a monk with this.
Yeah, I mean, the idea you can
Stab
cast...
with a lantern at the end of it. Beat somebody with a lantern.
beat the light into him.
Oh my goodness.
I thought this was a really great thematic weapon. Very powerful.
Yeah,
lots of juice.
Very powerful.
Gives
Holy
you
cow.
lots of good stuff. The only thing is, I'm not sure if it's worthy of a legendary title.
It might be. I mean,
How many-
1d6 plus 4?
Yeah.
And it starts with 10. It doesn't have a maximum.
Yeah, but I think the... Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that.
Because, like, if you just, stayed, down
see, I
for
think
a week,
And there's quite a few spells in here, too, that are pretty solid.
like
Yeah.
Sunburst or Sunbeam, Wall of Light, like, there's some strong
Yeah,
stuff
okay,
in here.
maybe. I don't know. Legendary just seems kind of high for
Yeah,
it,
I guess
but-
it's not like, Vorpal Sword or something.
Yeah,
right?
we also looking at possible 10 for uses of Guiding Bolts, which is a pretty awesome spell, so...
yeah, I didn't realize that was only one charge.
Yeah.
Assuming I,
Or like
copied it right.
5 uses of Branding Smite. I mean, like,
yeah, because
there's some good stuff in here.
yeah, I guess there's a lot you can do with it.
And
I really
undead
thought it was
targets
really
have
cool.
disadvantage, so I mean,
Yeah, so all right, I think that'll do it for our magic item. Our dungeon master tip of the podcast is use magic spells for your encounter designs. I just started doing this recently because I realized that you can utilize the power and coolness of stuff that's in the DMG that your characters don't ever get to use, like higher level spells. And you can utilize those to shape your encounters. For instance, the magic jar. Basically the magic jar allows the caster to lock their soul inside of a container, and then once it's in there, their body goes catatonic, but they can possess anybody. They can attempt to possess people within 100 feet of the jar. And they can
Holy
see through the
cow.
jar as if it has eyes and all that stuff.
that's
And
pretty crazy.
oh, it gets better. When you take over somebody, their soul is trapped in the jar. So imagine finding this jar and somebody tries to possess you and takes it over. But instead of it just being the traditional evil person that you would think, the guy jumps into your body and do they freak out? And let's use Raven
Okay.
as an example, your character. I tell you make a save and you fail. I send you a slip that says you are now a different character. Here's your personalities, your flaws, your traits, all that stuff. And you're not bad, but you're scared to tell anybody you're somebody else because you don't want to be stuck back in the back into the box or back into the box.
Right.
But you're not bad, so you want to make sure that the guy whose body you just stole doesn't get stuck in the same situation you were just in. So now I've given you a task to either just come out and say it
Or just live that dude's life, essentially.
and trying to find a way with the group how to free somebody. I don't know. It seems like it can create so many opportunities. What do you think, Ian?
I remember one time we were playing Storm King's Thunder, and when I leveled up, I gained the ability to use the Scry spell, but the component required was a crystal ball worth yay amount of gold, which you say is not exactly laying around. And you ended up saying, and I asked like the Storm Giants, hey, do you know where I can find something like this? And you're like, well, there are these like pristine pearls that you can get from these giant clams on the bottom of the ocean, and it was me and Mira who decided to go on this underwater escapade.
Yes, I do remember that.
She made a submarine.
Made of like rock.
Coral and stuff.
Yeah.
Coral,
awesome.
Coral and shape water, which they from the bubble pushing it along. We got chased by like sea creatures.
That was something.
Gangway! It was like I crashed through like the underwater dock with tentacles flying after us, but then some going back to the
But
water.
you guys did it. And
Well,
that's the
we
part
did.
that mattered. Meanwhile, Raven was looking around like, so I didn't mean to be in your room. I was looking for the bathroom.
With the giant.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to this. What do you think about using? I mean, in this situation, I chose Magic Jar. Do you think that using spells could be great catalysts for encounter ideas? I mean, that's just something I came up by.
Is like, yeah, like, because there's well, like D&D is obviously a very magical world, and who's to say that other things can't like have these like long lasting spells or
Right.
some like what if this just like this holy ground, I guess, just had Zone of Truth just stuck on it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like you walk in there and suddenly the rogue can't lie anymore.
Head on over to critacademy.com and check out our fantastic terrain where we have all kinds of 50+ examples of this very thing.
Yeah, like it's like you can have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
In another example would be the Guards and Wards spell. Now, when this is
Didn't you put this
cast,
on a door?
huh?
Didn't you put a ward spell on a door?
Yeah, Glypha Warding, I think.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
blew a whole lot of people up.
Yeah, I did do
Including the
that.
hostage. That was
Yeah.
inside-
Yeah, including the hostage inside, myself who opened the door, my two friends, I guess air quotes, we're not really friends at the time. And
Friends afterwards.
we were friends afterwards, and then we all became friends to the Deep Lord. Not because of myself or anything. It was totally my fault. But,
Oh, that's funny.
but yeah, like, wards, use those. They're great.
Well, in Guards and Wards, basically the spell effect itself affects a big area, like 2,500 square feet or something. But you can do things like filling an area repeatedly with spider webs.
Huh.
Now, at first I was trying to think, why would you do that? Why would that even be? It would just be inconvenient, wouldn't it? Well, it depends. If you put it in a big collection of hallways and you want to control which way somebody goes, and you're chasing somebody, well, you're not going to chase up the ramp that's full of cobwebs. You know they didn't go that way.
Ooh.
That's smart.
But if it re-stitches back together every few seconds, you'll
Then
never
who-
know.
Yeah.
Oh, and with the magic jar, he's like, do the characters from a hat one shot.
Oh, God, yes. I love that. That'd be a good one. The other thing it does is it creates like a fog effect. And in the
Okay.
fog, half the group gets confused of which direction they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So you always think you're going the wrong direction, or half the group's always going the wrong direction.
Someone better make a really good survival check.
Doesn't matter. They
Yeah,
just
I guess
they
that's
it
true,
just
yeah.
says that 50% think they're going the other direction. It's right.
That's so crazy.
So it creates this kind of headbutting between party, and that's just a spell effect. I don't have to use it as a spell effect. I can just make it an effect that happens in this area, like you were talking about.
It's like a terrain effect.
Yes, so spells are great for that. They don't have to be something somebody casts. It can just be something that happens from of events and stuff that have already been going on. Mm-hmm. So
because this is a world, and the world has been alive longer than the players.
yeah, and it's permeated with magic. From wizard battles and wish spells and
demons and devils
yeah,
and angels.
everything.
There's all sorts of stuff that's going on.
So you can grab those spells, read what they do at the higher level ones, and find a way to use them as quest books and stuff.
What if someone did like a summoned greater demon, right? And you see that there's blood everywhere around the summoned greater demon, but the greater demon is still there and stuck inside the inverted magic circle. You just happen to walk by it, right?
That would be
that
terrifying.
Could be something that you just
be like,
walk by.
Hey, come let me out. Got something good for you.
You're just like
Beetlejuice.
No. This is bad. Alternatively, it could be something else that's stuck in an inverted magic circle, like an angel. And then you got to figure out how to save the angel.
Well, is it an angel or a demon?
Or is it a demon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a polymorphed something.
Yeah, it's a demon disguised as an angel to try to get out.
Which is smart too. Like,
hey guys, I'm stuck.
Can you help me real quick? How'd you get in there? Magic circle. I was summoned. Didn't go well.
It was an accident. Anyways, you can do a lot. So when you're go through the higher level spells that your characters don't run into very often, and see what they do, and find a way to twist them into story hooks and encounters. So that'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast.
Use magic spells for adventure and encounter designs.
Yes. That's long-winded.
Mouthful. Use magic spells for encounters.
Yes, there you go. Our player tip of the podcast is don't be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by making sure your warlocks are marked with your pact. Have a mark of the pact.
I have to wonder if this was inspired by...
It was.
Okay.
So
by yourself?
Yes. So every time... so if you... I don't know if we were talking about it on the show. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier on the show and before the show went live. My eyes are completely red right now.
Like...
Disgustingly
seriously,
so.
Like, they are completely red. Aside from...
It's all blood.
And, like, even his... God. Jesus.
It's
he just
so
pulls
bad.
down his eyelids and there's just... It
It's
gets
all
worse.
blood. It's not like red from irritation. It's blood.
And like, I know your
anyways.
eyes are brown or something like that, right? And
Yeah.
they're just like all like muddy and gross.
It's terrifying. But anyways, basically I joked when I woke up and I realized, I was like, holy shit, did I make a pact with a demon while I was sleeping? And so I was like, oh my god, that's a great player tip. Because that's the kind of shit I do. I take a negative and turn it into a positive.
Hey, yeah,
so
that's what you gotta do, man.
when your warlock makes a pact with your patron, allow some residual effect to indicate the pact. The pact with the fiend may leave your eyes bloodied or your teeth charcoal black. I think Alan McCoy mentioned that one of his players had black teeth and every day had to drink salt water. Because that's what it had to do with his patron's pact. So it was weird. Just occasionally he would drink salt water, you know?
Huh.
Maybe a pact with an archfey may cause flowers to bloom as you walk by. Something random like that. Maybe small critters are drawn to you, much like a Disney princess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just random things like that. Maybe if you make a pact with a celestial... whenever you take a bath, you turn water into wine or holy water or something just because of your pact. You know what I mean?
See, and that's like the fun stuff that you can do with a warlock. When you're a warlock, it's similar to like a paladin where you inherently have just like roleplay opportunities ingrained into your class.
I remember back in the playtest when they initially showed like a build for the warlock. The one build they had as an example is you made a pact with a patron of beauty. And the mark of your pact is you actually had a huge wart on your face because you gave them your beauty for power.
Oh, that's hilarious!
That's
I love
brilliant.
And the more powerful you got, the uglier you got.
Because you're
Until
trading
you look
off
like
your
Nosferatu
own.
himself.
That is really cool.
That's smart.
I didn't
though.
know that. That's nice.
There's a lot of fun stuff in the playtest where looking back, I'm like, why didn't they keep this in here?
Some things do make you wonder, honestly. Like, how come that didn't get through? And
Well,
they
sometimes it's not
published
even a mechanics thing. We saw a lot go down with the
Well,
the
it sounds like
cleric that they just did for Unearthed Arcana that had to get ripped out of it.
Oh, which one was that one?
And I think
Cleric
they
of
listened...
Love domain.
Yes, the
And
Love Domain.
And to be real, I think there's been a few times, especially Love 5th edition, they listened to the players who complained, who they probably should not have listened to.
Yeah, I think for this particular instance, though, it was very much a sensitive issue because now I mean,
But you get what I'm saying, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I have touched feelings on it because, and I'm gonna keep it to myself because I don't want to
Yeah.
get into that.
It's not what we're
But,
here for. But.
yeah. So anyway, so back to on topic. The mark to the pack. What kind of cool mark would you make for your warlock if you made a pact with
Give me an example
fiend.
Of with a fiend. I'd have like a burn scar across my face or something.
Ooh, would it take any particular shape?
Maybe just like I don't know. Like I thought you can look him up. His name's Arkham on from Devil May Cry 3, and like his flame like scar like moves around his face sometimes.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
cool.
really wicked looking, and like he has like two different toned eyes, and it's just this really bizarre, definitely warlock-esque dude, and that's kind of who I would probably kind of base that off of. Just have like this burn scar that kind of like travels on my body as like I move around and
That's
stuff.
really cool. I love that. What about you, Ian?
Or if you make a Hexblade Warlock and you make a pact with a sentient weapon, you have like a gaping wound that looks like it's caused by said weapon that's not actually bleeding.
Ooh.
Like a stab in the chest with a longsword.
Yeah.
You
I
just
like
like
that.
open up your shirt and it's like, yeah, this is kind of here. It's just like a giant stab wound in your heart, and you're
That
like,
reminds me of.
how are you alive? And it's like, oh, it's not.
Magic.
I guess it's real, but it's not real. Does that make sense?
That reminds me of the Hollows in
and
Bleach.
like Bleach,
They
yeah,
got the big
where they have,
hole in
like,
their
big
chest.
hole in their chest, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be
I love
really
Bleach,
cool.
but-
I'd love to do that. Well, we don't talk about the one season though. The fake vampire shit.
Oh god, that was
needs to
all
go.
filler, I believe. Like literally all filler.
Although you can make a very strong argument of anything past when they beat Eisen the first time, so...
Yeah. All right, moving on before
But
we
yeah,
lose more
sorry,
listeners.
before we go super deep into it, but yeah. Fun stuff you could do with
yeah.
Warlock Pact stuff. And like get like two cool like tattoos or something. Do something, you know? Like
Something to show your dedication. I love that beauty mark one, man. I'm stealing that.
that's just so like I can't believe they didn't do that.
All right,
honestly.
that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick.
I think I just described the hag, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
maybe.
Maybe that's how
Anyways.
they all came about.
So, that'll do it for our show today. We hope you enjoyed your show. Please join us on our next episode where we'll be discussing the Ettenling package, a 2-player race option.
Wait,
What?
Yes, I said it. I don't usually cover races on the show.
So like do two players
Play one race character. And honestly, my reaction was that too, until I was so wrong. It is done in such an amazing way that
So
if you
is
have
it-
any set of role play, it is fun.
Is it like
We're not going to talk about it.
okay, yeah. Well,
Just hang on to
next
that.
week.
It's one of those things you're like, that shouldn't work, but it does.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about that next week. I'm really excited for that. If you have any feedback on our tips and tricks or topics you'd like us to discuss, please send them to us at Crit Academy. Please send them to us. You can email them to us at critacademy@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Facebook at Crit Academy.
Woo. We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a hopefully 5-star review on iTunes, or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show. Also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
And make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com. Follow us on Twitch at Crit Academy, and subscribe to us on YouTube so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as a chance to win cool prizes each and every week. Check out our fellowship members as well.
Yes, and as a reminder, we want to thank DMsguild for becoming partners of the show. If you do pick up anything on DMsguild, you can use coupon code CritGuild and save 20% on your purchase. Highly recommend it. Check it out.
20%'s a lot.
Yeah. It
On
is.
the whole purchase, by the way, right? Yeah. So not just one item, and not like, oh, it's the lowest item. Haha. No, it's the whole thing.
I hate that cheap ass shit.
Yeah, I know.
So,
we all do.
so if you do support us, make sure to use that coupon code to help yourself and help us.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Austin.
And I'm your co-host, Ian. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
Shing.
So I want to read this really quick. So Steven says, So I listened to your live episode this week, episode 50-ish. Loved it. Justin, you do a great job of painting pictures in theater of the mind. I tried my best to emulate you in our session today. Went over well. Thanks for the tips by example. Dude, you are welcome. I am so glad that you are are getting into it and kicking ass and taking names. I love hearing success stories.
You can definitely learn a lot from this guy, seriously.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I have a lot to offer.
You've been a DM for a while, and when I think about good DMs, I think about this guy. That's not even like a joke. Like, I legitimately do. Like, you are.
What do you want?
You're top of the line DM. Like, seriously.
Well, thank you.
It's it's hard to find really well prepared DMs who can really. Sometimes you're not, but we don't talk about that. But
I would like to
you
say
act
that
prepared. Let me put it that way.
I would like to say that being a DM for a long time does not make you a good DM, because I've known some people that have done it way longer than me and still suck.
Like that guy from Frankenmuth?
I think it really
I
is.
didn't say that, but maybe.
I think what it really comes down to as well is like how you cater to your player group as well.
That's all I do.
Big thing. Because
it's all about you.
It's like if your players are having fun, chances are you're probably going to end up having fun too. Like that's kind of the idea.
So,
because if they're not having fun, you're going to know that they're not having fun.
All right, let's wave to the camera. You guys all have an awesome day, all right?
See you later, guys.